I want each of you for a moment to think of your favorite piece of media growing up. I don't care if it's a movie or a book, just whatever really impacted you as a child. Thinking about that media, what were the morals that it taught you? Did it teach you to be smart and courageous? Did it teach you to be curious? Did it teach you to work hard? Did it teach you to share with your neighbor? The lessons and the morals that we learn from media growing up will always impact us and affect us in the future. However, the lessons that we learn as kids aren't always the lessons that we need to learn as adults. When was the first time that you learned that you can be smart and courteous and kind and share and you still get nothing in return? When do you learn that life sucks sometimes? How do we learn these important lessons in our lives? In 2012, Thomas Fahy had a book called The Philosophy of Horror. And in that book, he stated that horror not only plays with our desire to encounter the dangerous in a safe context, but it also wrestles with the complex nature of violence and morality. These important lessons of morality that we have to learn can come from places that terrify us to the core. Today, I'd like to share with you two of these authors, two of these great horror writers that taught us these lessons by scaring them and chilling us to the bone. The first is a man by the name of Robert Stevenson. He was a famous author who is known for two books, Treasure Island and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, I'm sure all of us are pretty familiar with the whole story of Jekyll and Hyde. We know that one is a smart, educated businessman, and the other is a barbaric, humanistic monster. And in the book, we realize that both of them are the same person. However, when I first read this book in high school, that is not what I took from it. I didn't care that there was that two people were the same one. What I heard was a man bathed in addiction, a man that had chosen the worst parts of his life and indulged in them until he died, despite being a good person. A quote directly from the book in 1974 states, "There comes an end to all things. This brief condescension to evil finally destroyed the balance of my soul." Dr. and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is not about two men being the same man. It's about a story we've all heard. There's a good and evil side to each of us, and what matters is the one that we feed, the one that we act on. But the lesson we don't teach children is the fact that sometimes the evil side of us wins. Sometimes the temptations really do lead to our own demise, and we can't teach children that sometimes it's too late. Sometimes we don't get a second shot. And sometimes the choices we make destroy us. Although the lesson taught by Stevenson is still extremely applicable in our lives, most of the lessons that we have needed to learn in our lives have changed as time goes on. Think of how many things these days are important to apply that we never thought of 20 years ago. Because of that, a more modern author I'd like to share with you is Jordan Peele. Now, I'm sure if you guys think of Jordan Peele and horror, you can all see where I'm going with this. It's his new movie, in at least 2017, Get Out. 5 years ago, this movie taught us of the importance of racism in the modern day and how it still thrives despite how much progress we've made. It shows us how terrifying the modern day can still be in terms of treating others unequally. In 2020, I'm sure we all remember the Black Lives Matter movement and how much it proved to us that racism and the dregs of slavery still exist in our day. And it still exists inside of each and every one of us. Inequality has shaken and broken the foundation of our very world. And Jordan Peele, with his work, was able to teach us through terror, through fear, exactly how important it is that we get rid of these stereotypes in our day. Horror is meant to scare us. It's meant to terrify us. But when we really walk away, when we really make sure the lights are still on and make sure there's no one following us at night, what sticks with us are the morals, are the lessons, And that is how we absolutely know that we have learned something, that we can grow from the fear that we feel. Because although fear is always with us after these movies, after these books, what really matters are the lessons that we didn't hear as children.